Clearly the title Empire that has appeared throughout the Civilization franchise is just a symbolic way of naming the territories controlled by a player in the game, and it's not there to reflect history, but welcome to my mind and the things it comes up with. Which leaders actually had the title of Emperor or Empress, IRL? We can think of three categories here: those who haven't ruled as emperors, those who did, and a certain grey area on which we're gonna talk about at the end. First, there's some obvious cases of leaders who weren't emperors, like presidents or prime ministers. Others, maybe lesser known, were great leaders, usually military leaders, like Boudica and Ambiorix, but not even an actual head of state, as we would say today. Then we have the case of some leaders that did in fact rule as an emperor. For instance, Russian Tsar Peter the Great and the Tsarina Catherine the Great. In the same category fall the Byzantine and Ottoman leaders, as well as the very Napoleon, who crowned himself as literary Emperor of the French in 1804. Okay, let's now get into the juicy part, with these civilizations having some details that make me wonder in which group to put them. Let's get first into Rome. The early years of the Roman Empire were somewhat strange, at least for our modern eyes, in the sense that the empire itself was never actually established. Historians usually set the date of the foundation of the Roman Empire in 27 BCE, when the Senate gave Octavian a series of powers declaring him Princeps, Augustus, and giving him Imperium. Let's recap a bit. The last years of the Roman Republic had been quite violent, culminating with the assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BCE, who was killed for having accumulated too much power, but not an emperor. After which, Octavian fought in a civil war for almost the past 20 years prior to 27 BCE. In 31 BCE, Octavian defeated the forces of Mark Antony and Cleopatra VII and won the war, managing to seize power and gain peace. After receiving all the titles from the Senate, he'd be known as Augustus Caesar. And though the Senate kept functioning like in the Republic days and the processes of the Republic were basically still going on, he and the first emperors were, in the end, the most powerful men of the empire and the ones in charge. Shall we call them emperors? I guess so, but at that time, no one would have said that. A much more recent case is that of Queen Victoria. In 1876, the British Parliament granted her the title of Empress of the India, but the British never had an actual emperor. Something similar happens with King Felipe II of Spain, head of the Spanish Empire, but King of Spain. By the way, if you'd like to learn more in detail about anything of this or other videos, please let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you agree? Which other examples can you think of? Can you think of more grey areas, so to say? Thanks for watching!